All right. Hello, 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 hello. Sean Brady, regular wine guy, with my man, the one, the only, the absolutely cool and fabulous. I'm looking at two cameras at the same time. J-Time B. Gunter, sommelier out in California. Hey, Jay, how you doing, my man?
I am great. I don't know if we can keep on calling you the regular wine guy, man. You're like one of the top uh 500 reviewers on that app Vivino. If anybody knows about that app, go check it out. Don't they have like a million people on that app or something like
There's
that? Like
yeah, there's over a million people on Vivino right now. The last I looked, it was pushing 1.5. Now that's some people who just maybe get the app and do one of the cool little app tutorials. It's like, oh,
uh,
I'm going through the Rhone Valley. Oh, I'm going down to Chile. All those fun things. But yeah, it's a cool app. I mean,
that's a
from a
big deal,
business
man.
standpoint, they're rocking.
That's a big deal that you're within 500 though. I mean, that's pretty wild. I mean, look at the numbers: 1.5 million people on the app that are reviewing wines. And you're at the top. How long have you been on the app? Like, what got you into it? How did you sign up?
What got what got me into, we're talking about the Vivino app, people, for those that are catching me live on Instagram. What got me onto the app was just basic ratings on wine. If I didn't know about a wine and I wanted a little insight on it, I knew I could scan a wine. And I've been doing it for a few years now, and I don't remember if it was 2 years or 3 years, but what I liked about it was if there wasn't a wine in there, I could add a wine. So if I found
Uh,
a new wine that wasn't added yet, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll give it a go. But then it also talked about the region and some of
mhm,
like not so much the terroir and things like that, but
mhm.
certainly, what's the general tasting profile for that grape going to be? And, you know, then I feel smarter when I'm talking to real sommeliers, people like yourself.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just a wine guy. I'm just a regular wine guy like you,
I think
man.
everybody's just a regular wine guy. We just have different levels of it. That's all it really is. But one thing I love about doing these things with Jay, for those that don't know, is that we met out in California, and he had this book called Fruit in Glass, Fig. And I'm
Yes.
like, well, man, that's awesome. It was just a real easy read. And one of the things I love about this is that, and Jay, is that he just brings wine so approachable to everyday people. And it's like, look, it's not pretentious. It's all about you and how you like to pair things. And look, when it comes to your own personal palate, and then I learned this in spirits tastings and different things that I've done. Uh, there's a few people in the background. I'm not going to say who they are, but they got a little slogan. Hey, you do you, and you know who you are.
That's some real stuff right
And
there.
it's not Jenny, but
So
Jenny knows who I'm talking about.
I love working with you too, man. But
It's fun
today,
stuff.
it's always fun with us. I mean, we're wine. We like to have fun with wine, but we're also a little bit wine nerds too, and it's good to bounce stuff off with you. So today, everybody who's checking out the live, we are talking about warm weather red wines. We're looking for red wines that are at least when I'm looking for a red wine that's great in the summer months. I'm looking for something that's medium body, not full body, a little bit higher acid going on there. And fresh. I'm looking for a fresh style of wine. And so today we both each picked a bottle, and we're gonna go over it with you. And I think first we're gonna let Sean do his thing and talk about the wine
You
that
can
he
call me
picked up.
Brady. You can call me
I
Brady.
was about to
You're
call
not
you. I
the
was about to
only
call you
one.
Brady. Well, I'm gonna say Sean. Sean, what do you got today for us?
So this was a little bit of a fluke, right? So we both picked a very similar uh,
We sure
region. Well, we
did.
picked the same region. We certainly picked the same grape, but we got the Del Chato, and I got this one, the Maro. I can't even say it. Maro Sabaste, and I'll
Basque.
hold that up there. And this is a 2018 Dolcetto d'Alba, and or Dalba, as I know you like to say. So I'm probably mispronouncing everything I say in Italian. So I
I do
apologize to
too.
all of our wine growers and oenologists and things like that. But this is a 2018 from Italy, and I did get a little guidance. I found this one at Total Wines, but I know you can find it at any wine shop in many cases. Not necessarily this particular bottle, but insight about what to drink because we're in the summer months now. It's I'm in St. Louis. Jay's out on the West Coast, and one of the things that's really interesting with our weather, and Jenny, who's in the background, knows this, is that we had literally 100-degree day on Friday. Now, 100-degree day, I wouldn't even. This is a warm weather red, maybe even a hot weather red. That was extreme ridiculousness. I don't want to drink any reds. So, but this, like you were saying, with the higher acid content and just some of the, it's light. So it just rained here, and so it's only like in the high 60s, but it feels very much more warm than that. It feels closer to 80. And you can see my glass is, oh, you can't see me. I'm blind. I'm becoming fog. What am I, in San Francisco? No, it's but so going to the wine, what the steward, if you will, at the Total Wines, not to be confused with us, the Total Winos.
Nah, a little bit different.
Big difference, because we're drinking. We got fig, man. We got fruit in glass. And he picked out like three or four different bottles, and I'm like, hey, look, if we were only picking one bottle, and then I gave another criteria, if it was under $20, what would you go with? And he recommended this one, and I know you're going to present yours in a minute, which is very similar in style. But yeah, Jay asked me a question because I always work better when I'm asked questions. But man, the nose on this is fun.
So let me ask you this. You said this is at Piedmont, right? This is northern Italy. Have you drank a lot of dolcettos in the past? Is this like one of your first times having dolcetto, or is this kind of something that you?
I think after nosing it and tasting a little bit, I think I've had it before, but not from a distinction that's like, oh yes, I have to have another dolcetto, right? Gotcha. But in the style, in the lightness, in the acid profile, mouthfeel, I believe I've had this before, not this particular one, but similar wines for sure. And I'll say it's my first dolcetto.
Interesting. I see. This is what I like. I like when we're doing firsts on this channel. That's what I'm talking about, man. So what are you getting on the nose? Like, are you getting more fruit or earth? Like,
it's a earthy fruit, if I will, right?
Okay.
Certainly on the nose, there's a slight fruitness. Some getting mild cherry, a little bit of berry, a little bit of not root. That's not right, but maybe it would be. But like a little bit of earthiness, right? I was gonna say like a dry wood, but maybe that's actually the root profile or earthy profile that I'm picking up on. And the more I opened this up a little late, and we were talking about that, we should open these bottles up a half an hour ago.
Yeah, for real.
So we're about maybe 15 minutes into this, and just how it's changed in that amount of time is really interesting. And I think you and I both said something. You were like, oh, checking for cork rot, what's going on here? And I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what? We don't even have the same bottles, not even from the same case or the same vineyard. And I'm like going, uh-oh, is this a problem? And it wasn't a problem. And so I'm like, well, let's just let it sit, with experience, give it a moment or two.
And I love about Italian wines.
It's opening up really nice. Yeah, a little raspberry on the nose.
Ooh, I like that. High tone red fruit.
Yeah, but then when you taste it, it like on the mouth, on the taste, and the palate,
totally different. Dry.
It's like I'm ready for meat. Something off the grill would be nice, whether it be a steak or a nice burger or even a lighter protein. Yeah, just really yummy. I'd even put this with a salad, certainly with a very mild vinaigrette, like a very lightly dressed salad would be really nice with us.
It's one thing I really, really love about dolcetto, whether it's Dolcetto di Dogliani or D'Alba, whichever one. That grape, for whatever reason, always gives me fruit and earth at the same time. It's always really balanced on it. There's never one is not normally more heavier on the nose than the other. Like, they tend to go hand in hand, and they tend to be more medium body. So I love them for food, for balance, hot weather, chill with a slight chill. It's a perfect hot weather one in my opinion. I really dig that stuff. I used to, when I was really getting into Italian wines, Dolcetto was my favorite varietal for a long time. And so that's why I kind of, when you picked it, and I almost picked the Dolcetto too when I was at Total Wine. When you picked it and you showed me, I was like, oh yes, we get to talk about Dolcetto. Man, that was my go-to, because you can always find it at a reasonable price. Sometimes you find them a little bit more on the more dense, medium plus body side. Those tend to be the Dolcetto di Dogliani's. Those are the ones I really, really love. I love D'Alba too, because they're more food friendly, like the one that you have. But the Di Dogliani's tend to be like a little bit more. They tend to be a little bit more masculine. They tend to be a little bit more chest out. I'm here. What's up? I got a little bit of tannin going on here. Like, you're gonna love me regardless, because it's delicious wine. So yeah, I love Dolcetto, man.
Really, it's fun. It is fun stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going to rate this one yet, but I'll rate it after I have a full glass for sure. And yeah, it's good stuff. Now, Jay, I know you got some good stuff in your glass, because you always got good stuff in your glass, right?
I try.
I gotta say this, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you've experienced this, but I had the privilege and going to a newer restaurant here in Missouri, and we did the chef's pairing with some wines, and it's like we have the technology right in the palm of our hands to check out what the wine is.
Yeah.
But here's what I liked about it, is that the wines that he paired it with were not expensive. In fact, they kind of fit a lot of our criteria, under $15 a bottle retail. Some were under 10, right? Wow. But the food that he paired it with, normally, if I would have looked at this wine, maybe I wouldn't have got it, just by looking at, because a lot of times it'll have their flavor profile. Like, is it dry? What's the acid? Is it soft? Those things are there. But that's one of the cool things that I love about wine, is figuring out what the food pairing could be. Yeah. And I was blown away, because I would have never picked those wines otherwise. And we only had a little tiny taste of each. But man, I was so happy I had those tastes of each.
Speaking of food pairings, man, let me just real quick segue.
Yes.
So you know what's going on in my life a little bit. I did a food pairing on Saturday, this past Saturday. It was 12 different dishes, and it was 6 dishes, Filipino dishes, and 6 dishes soul food. And so the person who was throwing it because she actually wanted to do an event like this. She's really wonderful. She wanted to do an event like this for BLM, Black Lives Matter, and then Stop Asian Hate. It was a collaboration. She wanted to give money to both charities. So she asked me to pair wine with every dish. And so this is a soul food versus Filipino food, and I had to do 12 different types of wines and then serve it to all these different people. Yo, talk about a lot of legwork prior to the event. I was like tasting I was ordering food all week. I was trying like all these different adobos and like different certain types of greens, collard greens and stuff. And I was just going back and forth and trying to find the wine. It was a lot of legwork leading up to the event, but it was an amazing event. And I kind of hit the pairings right out the park. Everybody was pretty floored about it. So it was just something that I was pretty proud of myself, because I haven't done anything like that in a long time. And I was like, I still got my chops. I'm still pretty good at this pairing thing. But anyway, enough with that.
That's awesome.
Let's talk about the wine that I got today that we're going to be.
That makes me want to be in California, and then we can do more stuff in person together.
Yes, sir. I'm here for that, man. Whenever you come here, just let me know, and we're gonna have some fun, bro. We're gonna do some in-person stuff, some videos, instead of always doing it through Zoom. But it's cool. I still get to see you. It would be good to see you in person, my friend.
Now I got to remember, because there's a little commercial break that I wanted to do before you go into reviewing your wine. And that's anybody out there watching this. We're putting this content out here to be evergreen. So if you find the wines, we'll hashtag these suckers at the vineyard, so that you can find them. You can taste along with us. You can just have it in the background while you're sipping. It's only going to be about 20 minutes long anyway. But so Jay and I are available for professional pairings and tastings and things like that. We actually review restaurants and what their pairings are before they go to the public. Instead of just taking a chance, there's another second pro look at it. So that's one of the things that we do. We are Total Winos, and we're available at this hashtag all over the internet. Jay's at Black Wino. I'm at Regular Wine Guy. All kinds of cool stuff like that. But that being said, Jay, you got fruit in your glass. Jump right into it.
Let's go. So we are talking about Saladini Palastri. This is out of Marche, Italy. So more like in the middle. Can you see that okay?
I see it.
Okay.
Perfect.
This is more like central, a little bit lower than central Italy, kind of like a little bit lower than Tuscany. And Montepulciano is a grape varietal. I know a lot of people think Montepulciano is a place, but it's actually the grape itself. Tends to be, I guess, compared to Sangiovese normally, but this one is 100% Montepulciano. And let's get right into this. Just so you know the region, it's Rosso Piceno. So that's so you know exactly where the appellation is. It's Rosso Piceno. On the nose on this. So this also, just like your Dolcetto, this has a perfect balance of earth and fruit. I'm getting black cherry, I'm getting strawberry, and I'm also getting wet soil, like kind of wet, like right after a nice little rain. You walk outside and you sniff, you kind of get this kind of like sweet aroma, like wet soil. That's what I'm getting right now on the nose. There's also quite a bit of like kind of a leather, like old leather mitt, baseball mitt. Hints of tobacco, some floral aspects too. There's a little bit of rose petal going on here. Also a little bit of black licorice too, which is kind of cool. I didn't expect to get that on the nose. Smells wonderful. Let's taste it. Let's see if everything's translating to the palate. Mm-hmm. So a lot of wines, this is what I love about Italian wines. They don't hit you in the face with fruit. And this one does not. It kind of tiptoes its way onto your palate, kind of subtle, wants you to know that it's coming. And then right when it hits the mid palate, it kind of just, everything comes out. Like you're getting the fruit, you're getting the earth all at one time. It's a little bit more of a kind of a tart, underripe strawberry in the mid palate, a little bit perfectly ripe blackberry in the mid palate. Some of that earthy note kicks in more in the third quarter. Kind of that wet tilled soil kicks in more in the third quarter. Structure medium plus acid. This is kind of a fresh style of wine, and this is what I'm talking about when you're looking for a red wine to drink when it's hot outside. You want something that's a fresh style. You don't want something that seems like it's going to be overly cooked or stewed food. You want something that's going to be like hit your palate and wake it up, and that's what this is doing. A lot of fresh fruit here. There's also like a little bit of like a green herbal kick that kicks in in the third quarter to the finish, and very nice long finish with this one. I highly recommend this for a barbecue, man. You can get away with ribs with this. You can get away with, if you're just doing barbecue chicken. This will kill barbecue chicken, by the way. This goes with a lot of dishes that would, like, if you're also doing links, this would, like, even with a little bit of spice, because the alcohol is in check here. I think it's only 13%. So the alcohol's in check. So even if you get a little bit of spiciness with those links, it's not going to burn going down at all. Exactly. I need to pour some more too, by the way.
Pour some more in there.
So yeah, like this is a really, really well-balanced wine, long finish, one I want on a hot day with a slight chill that will go with almost anything on a date of barbecue. So anyway, this is wonderful. Highly recommend it.
Man, I just love it when you talk, because it just pulls out that much more insight for me and what I want to pair with it. One of the things I picked up on was that herbed. I'm like, if you had something like a dry rubbed, any type of protein, right? And it was more forward with that than some of the other seasonings you may normally put in some sort of dry rub. If it was that more seasoned forward, like you get in a lot of Italian style dishes, wow, that would be, I'm thinking even thyme and even sage would pair wonderfully with mine. I don't know about yours, but
Rosemary.
going back to the sausage links, right? It's like
Yeah.
you get some nice with sausage links. We're talking for the grill. It's delicious. Makes me want to eat. Encased meats.
I love sausage, man. I love like a little spice. That's another thing too that I need to point out. There's like a little bit of a rosemary thing going on here too. I'm catching in the third quarter. It's like definitely like kind of this like rosemary with a little bit of a spice here too. Like I'm also getting, which is kind of cool. I get a little bit of like a dried almond here too. This is opening up quite a bit. Another thing I love about Italian wines, a lot of them, you can open these up and they may be volatile at the beginning. If you let these things sit up for a little bit and get some air in it, it develops so nicely. It becomes like silk on your palate. It has a lot of these wines who you would think would be, just because they're under like $15, you would think it's not going to be that great. These wines, once they open up, taste like $30, $40 bottles of wine, in my opinion. So one thing I do love about Italian wines is you can find a lot of hidden diamonds when you're looking for wine, especially at Total Wines.
We love finding diamonds, right? It's almost like we're diamond hunters. And I know I've gotten some wonderful. There was a $6 bottle of wine that I got and shared one time, and people were like, "Wow, this is really outstanding." And the only thing I did with it was I decanted, and it was open for about an hour before I served it.
It smooths out things, man.
It smoothed it out, and it was super nice. But mine the same way. I really like this style of wine. Again, it's drier. I prefer that. It's not overly sweet, not overly fruity, but a lot of flavor that's going to pair with a lot of again, protein type dishes.
Yes.
And I like that, or certainly something heavy, like this would hold up to a couple things. Here's a question for you, Jay. So mine's a 2018. Is this a wine that you would drink young, or is something that you might cellar and hold on to for a few years?
Dolcetto, I tend to. I don't feel like Dolcetto needs to be aged that long, to be honest with you. Most of them, it depends on where it's coming from and the winemaker, because some of those things can age. Some of them have quite a bit of acid in it that they can age quite a bit. I would say mostly Di Dogliani tends to be the ones that I've seen age quite a bit. But normally, this is how it goes in Northern Italy. A lot of the wines are pop and pour, meaning that you can drink them young. Like Barberas, Dolcettos, they're made for like everyday wine, like at the table drinking wine. But then on the other side, you have Nebbiolos, which are made to be aged for years. Probably one of the red varietals that ages longer than almost any other red varietal is Nebbiolo. So you have, and those are made to be stored and aged for a long time. So because of that, you need these other wines that you can just pop and pour at the table. So that's where Dolcetto and Barbera tend to come. So that's how it works in Piedmont. You have, of course, the one that everybody talks about, like Barolos and Barbarescos, those Nebbiolos that can be aged forever. But then on the flip side, your everyday wines are normally Barberas and Dolcettos. So that's how it normally
works. We
works.
like everyday wines.
Me too.
This is fun.
That's what it is. This is what I'm talking about right here. And everybody always talks about Sangiovese. Go get yourself a Montepulciano. Like, I love Sangio. Sangio is what turned me on to Montepulciano. They're very similar, but there are some distinct differences with them. And I want you guys to go check it out and see, and let me know what you think about Montepulciano. Marche is one of my favorite regions, period. Like in all of Italy, and it's like to me, it's Tuscany. It's kind of like the one that everybody goes to. But if you want to find value with just the same amount of quality, you go to Marche, which is not too far from them, because you can get Sangiovese and Montepulciano out of there, and they're killer. I call them super Marches. And like everybody talks about super Tuscans, there's some Marches down there that I'm like super Marches for real. Like, these are outstanding wines. So go check out Marche too if you get a chance.
all the good stuff. Now I want to make sure, like I'm looking for it, but it doesn't say exactly what. Okay, so where would it be on here? The region it's from. Because
So
I agreed with you when you
uh,
said Piedmont. I'm like going, I don't even see Piedmont on here.
well, normally when it is on Dolcetto, Alba is in Piedmont.
Okay.
So like when you see Alba, that area is in Piedmont. So it's Dolcetto
And it
of
does say Alba on the back, Alba,
yeah,
Italy.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. They don't make it easy for us Americans, and nor I mean Italians would not want to anyway. And they'll make it easy. Like you got to figure out what you're drinking yourself. We're not going to help you out with this, which I understand.
I get it.
Sure,
I get it. You want to separate the wheat from the chaff. I get it.
Exactly. I get it.
That's cool. But either way, it's wherever it's from, it's a lot of fun.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. Oh, and so we are going to be, of course, we're going to be doing these more regularly, guys. We have another episode coming up, probably what is 3 weeks, 2 weeks from now. So we will get back to you on everything that's going on with that. But yes, we are excited to bring you guys more content. We're enjoying this whole process, and we want you guys to grow with us. We enjoy sitting here and talking to each other, but it would be great if other people would jump in and who are other wine lovers and give us some feedback. Let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and what you want us to taste. Because I mean, that's what we're here for, is to educate, but also to enjoy some wine with you guys.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. And hey, I'll end it with this. Because I know Jenny's in the background. We have our merch on the way, but it's a pretty cool saying. You look like we need wine.
I love it. I love it.
It's great stuff. That being said, Jay, anything else for you, sir?
No, just check out more of our content. I have a couple things coming, but I'll let you guys know that later. There's a lot of projects I'm juggling along with the wine, so I'll let you guys know that going forward. But check me out at Jayton Gunter on Instagram, and pretty much any platform I'm on is pretty much Jayton Gunter. And
it's
buy
all
my
there.
book.
Yeah, you got 3 books, but pick a book. It doesn't matter. Hey,
buy one of them.
Whining ain't easy.
You ain't lying.
It's good stuff. All right,
yes,
brother.
Sir.
As being said, wherever you're at, wherever you are, we may not see you in person, but we're always going to see you right here on social media. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being you and winos like us.